Hello everyone, I'm Eric, and it's my honor to introduce our new solution 360D4. The most important feature for this solution is AOI feature. So let's base on the AOI feature to find. So let's base on the AOI feature to find the AOI value and check what AOI solution that RGB link can support you in your project. To know the AOI value, let's use several questions to find the answer together. The first question, what is the AOI? In traditional camera or Vidcom, it can support some positions around us only. And if you want to check more details, you need to adjust the force or move lens to other positions. Sometimes we need to different people to control different cameras so that the audience can select the positional contents by themselves. And it's very inconvenient for controller. So is there have one solution to offer more easy and simple controlled method by the controller. And yes, the AOI features can solve these problems. Please check the left picture. The left picture is the content from the camera. In the right frame, it means the crop area. Right picture are the crop content, and it was showed in full screen on the other display. And it means controller can choose by the right frame to do crop and output the different positional contents. For example, he or she can crop the buildings in the middle and output it in full screen directly. So that we call it AOI feature. After we know what is the AOI feature, now we need to know what kind of application can use the AOI feature. Actually, the answer quite easy to answer. If you have a camera, then you can use the AOI feature, like the security and the protection industry can use AOI feature too. You can use it to monitor the entire environment more detail in real time. And in the rental and the stage, controller can crop the singer or the dancer more closer. In the meeting and conference industry, controller can crop who raises up his or her hand, want to talk about his or her idea. So if you have a camera in your application, AOI feature can help you. And just now we know where can use AOI feature. For now, we need to know who will use the AOI feature. The answer is quite clear and obvious. As we've introduced before, first, controller need AOI feature. They can choose different positional content to audio. Second, audience need the AOI feature too. They can use AOI to select the positioner that they are interested. For example, you can select the football player that you are interested in, and you can check more closer and the detail. Like you can focus on the Messi or the Neymar. And the next question is, when will we need the AOI feature? Actually, on the fair application, when you just have one or few controller, like the picture showed, it's just only one people to control of them. We can't ask the team to adjust the different force and change the different position on the several cameras. Then you can choose the AI feature because it can controlled by machine, not by the camera. But as we know, several cameras means you need to do the AI feature on them, and it's still hard for one or few people to control the more faster. So under this situation, we need to know why we need the AI feature. If you want to use one or few people to realize the AI feature, we have a panoramic camera can support you. Or you can choose the panoramic cameras from the internet, as it's very easy to buy it. And this is the content that panoramic camera support. You can check the left side and the right side. It's communities. If it is still too hard for you to understand the continuous, let me combine them and show you. Panoramic can show the entire environment around the cameras. And with the AI feature, you can select any positional content to check more detail. After this question, let's make a summary on AI feature. The first one, it can support positional content can be selected directly. The second one, you can use one or few people to control the several cameras. So to distinguish traditional AI feature, let's check how RGB link can support you in the new AI feature. And please check the picture. This is our solution for you. On the left, it's the one panoramic camera, middle with two default, and about two default different features I will introduce in the lab demo. The right side is a remote sending device. And you may ask, how did they work? So just follow me. Let me introduce those devices one by one. The first one, let's check the panoramic cameras. And this kind of camera have used 6 fish eyes lens to record or to transmit our entire environment in 8K resolution. And actually in the market, they also have a 2 fish eyes panoramic camera. But as we know, if you use more fish eyes, they can support more better effect. Because fish eyes always with distinctions on the content, and 6 fish eyes can offer a more better effect for our human's vision. And the fish eyes are often to show in around content, just like a football. It's hard for our human's vision to read it. So after processing by the panoramic camera, it can show a flat content, including the 360-degree content from the up to down, from the left to the right, to meet our vision's requirement. and it's the 8K. As you can check the picture, the resolution is 8K 4K contents. And as we know, everyone knows 4K content with more clear and richer truly colors than 2K. 8K content also with more better than the 4K. As the picture shows, the entire environment without any blurring in the contents. But if you don't want to use the panoramic cameras, what can we do? You also can use the cameras that you have on hand. And please make sure your camera's resolution, output resolution over 4K. That AOI feature will be more useful than 2K. And this is the signal part. Now, we'd like to introduce the most important device for AOI feature. It's D4. D4 is RGB link wholesale and high market reputation device that can support 12-bit image quality with HDR feature. As in the market, most of the device only can support up to 10-bit image quality. D4 is a device that can support the real 4K at 60 Hz signal in and out. In here, we'd like to introduce the AOI features more clear and show this feature in live demo later. And first, let's check the default information together. Please check the picture. On the input, D4 support 4K at 60 Hz in, like the HDMI 2.0, DP 1.2, 12G SDI. What is that meaning? It means no matter what kinds of camera you have applied in your project, both of them D4 can contact with. For example, just like the panoramic camera, it's in HDMI output. And like the Canon, Nikon, Sony, both of them use the 12G SDI. As we know, 12G SDI always appear in the broadcast industry. So both of them can connect to D4 directly. As D4 have a full 4K input, so if you have used the 8K camera, how to realize the 8K content be recognized in D4? In the market, as we know, for now, the 8K cameras in the market always use full 4K output, like for 12G SDI. So D4 can recognize the 8K 4K signals. And now if you have checked the output, on the output, D4 with two HDMI 2.0 output for multiple operation mode. Just like the picture showed, it with the matrix. What is the matrix meaning? Matrix means the independent. First, the HDMI output in different resolution, and second output in others resolution and others content. So two output with different signals. About the multiple operation mode, let's take a quick browsing. For the multiple operation mode, we've introduced and showed in others webinar in details. If you are interested, you can check on the YouTube. So let's check the left top. The left top always be applied on the meeting and the conference to show the four 4K signals in one 4K screened. For example, like you have used the 4K camera, 4K computer, and both of them want to show in the 4K screen. Each of their position and size can be removable and adjustable. The right top always be applied on the different applications, like one for the meeting and the other for the advertisement or outside. The button always be applied on a fixed and integrated project because they have always use it to spacing for 8K, 2K display. So two output can do spacing up to 8K, 2K resolution. To realize the AOI feature, you need two defaults. The first default is AOI master selection. And use the full 4K input mode to recognize the 8K, 4K signals for monitor. And also, it needs to loop the full 8K content to the second default input to make sure the second default have the same 8K signal. And connect with the remote sensing device. The red frame will appear to select the different position. Second default is the AOI slab 1 selection. To crop the red frame the positional content and show it in full screen on second default output. Also, it's in 4K resolution and in 12-bit image quality to make sure the output with highest and truly colors rendition for audience. And later, I will show you in the live demo. For now, let's check the layout to understand it more clear. Let's check the picture together. The left is the panoramic signal and output in 8K resolution. Due to the limited in the distance, we can use the 5G technology to transmit the 8K contents. Because only the 5G technology in the mobile technology can transmit thousands GB each second. 8K contents have to connect to the UMS4 and transmitted by 4 HDMI 2.0 output to do spacing on the first default. And the first default will as the monitor feature. Also, next step is loop the signal to the second and third default. Because default HDMI input and 12G SDI input, both of them with loop interface on it. And via different remote sensing device, connect to the second and third default, and it will crop and do the AOI on the signal, the same signal, and output in 4K and 12-bit image quality. So that they can choose the same or different positional content. If we want more positional content, what should we do? Don't worry, it's very easy. You just need to add one more default and one more remote sensing device. And now let's introduce then the configuration and operation in live demo. Please wait a moment. we need to change the cameras, focus on the layout on our studio. Hello. Hope everyone can see my picture. And this is our configuration for the live demo. The first default, you can see on the input, we have a connect with AK content, and AK panoramic have been installed in the outside office. And please check the picture here. First default, in here in the menu, we choose the AI feature for the master. And with the master feature, the first default output will show as the monitor to show the whole AK content. As AK content have been separated into four 4K signals connected with the HDMI 1, HDMI 2, HDMI 3, and HDMI 4. And each of them need to loop to the second default. And please focus on the first TV. Here you can see here with two frames. The first one in the white frame. The second one were in purple frame. Now they are covered. Let me move it. You can see the monitor with two frames, white and purple color. So this is the first default feature, is to do the monitor. Please follow me. Now I will introduce the second default. The second default is the AY1. I use the remote sensing device in here. And I can use it to zoom and to scale. Okay, when I doing the adjuster, you can check the monitor displayed. Now I do the scale, to zoom, to move. Now I focus on the device to check more detail. Here, you can see when I move on the remote sensing device, the content have a balance and along with the white frame. So this is the first AY1. And how about the AY2 in purple frame? Let me do the scale. Now I'm doing room and move the purple. It also show and crop the positional contents in the purple frame. Maybe you will ask, can we control them at the same time? Let's do it. Actually, you can control it at the same time because different remote sensing devices, they are independent. Okay, this is the AI feature on default. If you have used the export software before, you may know the AI. If you want to realize, you can show it on the export software. But for now, you just need to add one more remote sensing device. You can realize automatically. So based on the live demo, and do you have any idea on your project? And if you are in the, for example, if you are in the rental and stage industry, on the signal you have using panoramic cameras. You just need a few people to control the different default for selecting different positional content and output via MSP 231 as the IP streaming on the internet. Maybe you will ask, if we have several 4K cameras only without panoramic cameras, what should we do? Don't worry, AI features on default can support 4 different 4K signals in and monitor directly by different remote sensing device. You can select different cameras contents to output directly. So now let's show you in live demo to explain it more detailed. For example, like in the rental and stage industry, you have 4K cameras in. And in here, please check. And for now, we don't have too much 4K signal. So in here, this is the 4K signal, 4K signal 1, 4K signal 2, and 4K signal 3 and 4. We have used the same contents because we have only one 4K cameras in here. And actually, it's separated from the middle. So let's check how to use the AI feature to realize, control, and showing different positional cameras content. For now, we move the white frame to first 4K input. And it will focus on the device. And now we use the second remote sensing device on different 4K input. Like here, and then we focus on the purple frame in the chair or on those papers. So with the AOI feature, no matter 4K or 8K content have been connected with the default. Both of them can be shown on the monitor or can be recognized on the monitors. And if you use the 8K content, it will show in full screen. If you use 4K camera or 4K content, it will be separated into 4 parts. Signal 1, signal 2, signal 3, signal 4. Okay, this is the application, AOI application on the rental and the stage industry. Let's back to the PowerPoint.
So how about broadcast industry? The answer, yes. For example, in Guangzhou TV, they have used annual LED display. For now, more and more televisions have used this kind of LED display. Annual LED display offer and immersive feeding for audience. Panoramic cameras for outside journalists be showed on the annual LED display looks more perfect and wonderful. And if the compare want to talk with the outside journalist, the controller just need to do AOI and focus on the outside journalist directly. It will be shown on full LED display and looks more truly. Also, if you install the panoramic camera in the studio, it can use other default to choose the compass position for audience. In addition to those applications, the AOI solution also can be applied on security and protections as introduced before. One panoramic camera to replace 2 to 4 traditional cameras for monitor entire environment around the camera. On rental or stage, we've showed you in the live demo before. If you are in the tourist industry, it can offer us a feeling that you are in a scenic spot. And this is our 360 default solution for you. One panoramic, 2 default, and 1 remote sensing device. So come and join us. Let's find your application and share with others.